stand and then to start off with then Russell, Jason, Carol Gunner, then the chief, and then Vic, then myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Community issues. Okay. I don't have very much to report. Musqueam is always quiet, but at the same time, there's same people that like to party at nights, but as a whole, the village is pretty quiet all the time. I don't notice that the offices are more visible now. I see them around the community a lot. I see them at the community events now. I also see them at the airport every time a plane comes in, which is about 2 or 3 times a day. Skate comes in, so I see them at the airport. And they patrol in the evenings, and also they do ride programs. So I think I never hear complaints about them. So I think people are relatively happy. They feel secure to see the officers around the community all the time. Other than that, that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, Russell.
Who, me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like always, I can only speak for my community. I know we are doing a lot for our community. We hired 10 guardians, which we pay, I've said this before, like 70 grand per body and up. So we're combating as much as we can. Like a few hours ago, we just caught about 4 ounces of coke. So that's a big bonus. And I don't know how much of money we've took. You probably seen how much coke and stuff we've sent to your vault. It's probably the bigger vaults than at your drug vaults there. I don't know. So we're doing our share. Sometimes I think we're helping you guys, NAPS, don't do so much. So that's why I asked send a dog our way sometimes there, Terry, just to have a presence. We still do our raids along with the Guardians. Sometimes we ask NAPS to come with us. And that's we keep sending people out, people that are not from here, and we'll keep doing it just to keep our community safe. Yes, that's all I could say for now. Oh yeah, we do have a lot of drunk driving. Maybe NAPS can work with our guardians in that way to have spot checks. So I know we always say to our NAPS officers that come to our office that we want a little more spot checks. All right. Have a good day. Yes.
Thank you. We'll make sure that happens.
Okay. Thank you, Russell. Jason.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Things are proceeding well with the construction on the Brunswick House end, and once the detachment opens, maybe we can think about organizing a board meeting nearby so that we can cut a ribbon or two. So that would be great. the detachment here in Timmins, the Northeast headquarters is well underway in planning. A few wrinkles along the way, as always with new construction, new builds, but hopeful and thankful that the team can stick handle that through and maybe get construction going as soon as next year. On enforcement notes, nothing really to talk about. I mean, we're like I think Terry mentioned a recent bust in Brunswick House. We seem to be a bit of a gateway for the the other communities with respect to how the stuff comes from Southern Ontario and through our communities, and so we're thankful that that NAPS will is around to do that. And I think the detachment in Brunswick House will help. I think the Northeast detachment here in Timmins will help. Behind my office here at Timmins, we're dealing with the homeless encampment. And I think, a NAPS presence here in Timmins is going to be important to not to tamp down homelessness, but certainly some of the more unsavory activity that happens around that place. So just appreciative of the work that our folks are doing. And we know it's not perfect, but it's a hard job. And I'm happy that our officers are out there doing it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Harold?
Good afternoon there. You hear me pretty good? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Up here, Moose Factory, one good thing I will say is strong presence of the boys here. See them around the community quite a bit. A lot of baseball tournaments here, so you see them out in the community participating in the tournament or just having a presence on the ball field there and showing the community that they are around. And like Jason said, it's not perfect, but it's a tough job, and I'm proud of the guys here. They do good, and and I think the community is pretty happy with them too. On another note, I was at a ball tournament in Timmins a few weeks back, and I ran into the chief of Tequatagamo First Nation just outside of Cochrane there. And asked if I was still on a board, and I told him yeah. And he made mention that what he would like to see is a NAPS officer on his First Nation, at least a couple of times a week, come and drive through and show themselves. And other than that, he had no other complaints. And a lot of people passing away up here this summer. So our community was kind of quiet as opposed to other summers, where it was party and everything else. And but the guys do a good job, and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud to be a representative of NAPS as well. And good officers here, a lot of local boys here, so they're doing a good job. It's a hard job, and no complaints. Miigwech.
Thank you, Harold. Chief Fallon? Chief Fallon, are you there? He's on the phone.
Hey, you're up.
I'm talking for nothing here. Yeah, I didn't know I was muted. But anyways, I'll repeat what I was saying. You know, as I said, the drug unit and crime unit are doing a excellent job in our community, and they're showing like these gangs that come into Constance Lake. We never had any in a while, but then we just reported some. That's it. One that just came in over our powwow, but then I know we have a checkpoint that assesses that, but then there was a kind of a mistake that they came in during a powwow, but again, they're eliminating all these gang members that come from down south, and our members are stepping up as well to support the initiatives that the crime and drug units are doing. And I commend them on all the work. You know, they eliminated like 3 big time dealers in our community and transporting from Constance Lake all the way to Ganugamain or Long Lac and Airland. You know, they eliminated a couple big time dealers, and you know of all the hard work that they do, and I want to thank them for that, and the amount of NAPS officers are coming in our community. You know, their household is all made now. I think they're ready to move in to their new home beside the police station. But then we just got word that we're going to be building a new police detachment here in Constance Lake, and we're surveying the land and getting that all prepped up and ready for them. But then there's just a few other things that I have to bring to attention. Is there was once mention of a cadet program that we were supposed to initiate from our community, but never heard any feedback on if that's going to be starting, or our members that we pushed forward didn't get accepted, or something. Just needs some little update on where that NAPS cadet program is going to lead to, or they change direction. And then just some of the things that are Matawa wide, and sometimes I don't think some of them are understanding the laws that we're going to interfere. The dog, you know, the dog that are sniffing and at the airports. I think they're misled in a certain way, and I think we can clarify that at our next AGM and tell them. But they may not like it, but as I said, in time, I think once we start to establish our bylaws and get really legislative and get the whole team assessed and get all the right officers in place, I think these changes will happen in time. You know, sometimes they always say Rome wasn't built overnight. You know, I think we're in the right path of producing a good NAPS offices, NAPS division, and I want to thank all the board for what they all do. And you know, on my part, like as I said, I have to wear 2 hats sometimes, and as I said, I have no complaints on my end as what the officers do in my community. And you know, I can't see other communities and what they do, because the only time they ever contact me is when things are not working right. And as I said, just clarity and how we move forward and how we start to implement change in some of these policies and bylaws that we create in our First Nations. I think there's some change that might happen in years to come. But as I said, we just have to continue to build our foundation and NAPS, and I think we're going in the right direction. And what else is that I don't want to have? I don't want to talk you guys ears to death, but I think we're doing good. And we have our AGM up in Martin Falls this week next week in Martin Falls. So I don't know, we'll be coming up, and we have an AGM there. And as I said, there's a lot of good feedback from our members, and I know we always try to help our officers as well and support them with the bylaws. And you know, when we BCR our members off, you know, we give them our bylaws, who we threw off the reserve or who we evicted, you know, from these banishments that we have, to reduce all these people that are poisoning our community members. But anyways, as I said, I just want to thank the officers on the EARTH team and the drug unit and the crime unit. I know they're doing excellent work. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. So, Betty?
Yes, Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm in Winnipeg right now. I came to escort my little great grandson here. He needs to escort him, and I'm just here downtown Winnipeg and in a hotel here. And my grandson's getting tired, and he wants me to come out from the washroom. I'm in the washroom. We're still busy. And okay, better stop with that. I'll go on with the community issues. Well, with the officers, yeah, there's certain officers that I do see, like going around, and there's some that don't really go around. But there's officers I know that really do that kind of patrolling around, and that's good to see, because it's during this time, this season, the fall season coming, and about our polar bears and what they can do once they come into our community. We've already had one issue with a polar bear, with a polar bear, and what I wanted to ask was about that, so who's actually has the authority to say if it needs to be shot, or if it starts probably not safe for the children or whomever, who has to say that it can be shot or not? Because there was an issue. They were saying that this man, he has a camp, just maybe he has a camp just out, a little ways out on the coast, and we usually just drive by his camp. It's not very far from the community, and that polar bear went to his camp, and the polar bear did a little bit of damage to his windows and stuff. And some snowmobiles that are out on the coast, the people leave their snowmobiles there after the season is over, the season is over, they leave their machines out there, and the polar bear, that's what that polar bear did, went and did some damage to some of the seats of the machines, the skidoos. And that's usually, I don't know what it is with the seats. They always have done that. I've always known them to have done that, to damage the seat. They tear it off, and I don't know why they do that. And they were just going around and this polar bear was going around, even going to the teepees. The teepee kind of did damage to a teepee and another little camp out there. So, and the reason why I'm saying this because that man had complained that it was the NAPS officers didn't want that polar bear to be killed, just to scare it off. But that's not possible with polar bears. You just can't scare them off. It's not like a black bear. It's different with a black bear. And so I was just gonna. So who has that authority or that right? Is it the council? Can they say we're gonna have to do something about this bear, right? Or that's the question.
From a policing perspective, Betty, we can dispatch animals if they're suffering or if they're going to cause serious bodily harm or death to somebody. So if the bear is causing imminent serious bodily harm or death to somebody, yes, we can dispatch a bear. But generally, if they're a nuisance or they haven't done anything yet, it's the MNR that you would contact, the Ministry of Natural Resources, in respect to the.
So it's the council, the chief and councils, right? It's them that they have to do that, right? Since they're an authority, right?
Yeah. It's not.
And it's an NAPS officer doesn't have that authority to say, you cannot kill, do not kill the polar bear.
Oh, but like I say, our commitment to killing the bears would be if it was a threat to safety.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring that to the table here, and just
I don't know what the chief and council's authorities are. That would be under the, of course, hunting regulations and stuff. So yeah, and a polar bear is protected, so it would.
Yeah,
that's something we'd have to look into from that perspective. But
so if another I know there's going to be more polar bears coming in. This is just the beginning of fall. I know there's going to be more coming in, and I just wanted to make sure, like, well, of course the community members were of course when a polar bear comes in, everybody knows, and everybody just kind of is on the lookout, or this came into the community. It was going around the people's homes. He wasn't scared of anybody or anything. So I guess they're all different too, them, and the way that they could be. And so I'm just saying that we're gonna be having more polar bears, and that's why I want to know. So who has the authority and who has the say for them if they're out like disturbing homes or starting to do damage to anything,
yeah,
That's what
I think it's the overall questions for the Ministry of Natural Resources and what they can do in respect to that. Because I say is that, and I get it because they're dangerous, whatever. But
yeah. They're more dangerous than black bears. That's I know black bears, but black bears are different. We usually have them at our garbage dump, and they're different. They run off. They just run off. When they see a vehicle coming, or if you shout at it or something, they run off. Not a polar bear. Every polar bear doesn't do that. And they're different. So, and they're more dangerous. They're more dangerous than, I believe they're more dangerous than the other creatures or critters or whatever. Yeah, so I just wanted to bring that out. I wanted to know. So it would be the chief and council that would have the say, and then contact NNR if that can't be taken care of or whatever, or the safety of the.
I would certainly contact the MNR. And sorry to interrupt, but I would certainly contact the MNR because, in respect to that, like if the chief and council, it depends. I guess the context of it. I would hate to see them get charged or something because they were hunting them, but there's a difference when there's a danger. We've shot in the last couple of years. We've had to dispatch a couple polar bears, but they've been lurking around the schoolyards and wouldn't leave and stuff like that. Like you say, they're very dangerous. So there's been occasion where they're a threat to public safety, and that's when police officers can shoot them. But I think a conversation should be had with the Ministry of Natural Resources just to make sure that just the nuisance ones that haven't put them in any danger yet, if there's something that can be done. Trapping, whatever they do. I can't speak for that end of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the same things are just going on, just like with any other community, with other community issues that we have with the drug problems and the alcohol. It's still the same, and I was just listening to even with the dogs, even with those dogs, you just can't do whatever. Like, and that's what the people were expecting. That they're just gonna that they're gonna bring them to the airport and they're gonna be sniffing the bags or the people or whatever. That was I think it wasn't really totally brought out what was. I mean, like the info or the information or the awareness of what's actually going to be happening with the dogs, even with the dogs, and I think also that people don't really know about the rights of the people. I think that needs to be brought out in awareness too about the rights of the people, and the people know they have their rights. That you just can't. Yeah, and you just can't take what was being said there, that you can't not just take the dog and have them just go try and sniff out the people at the airport or this. I think that's what most of the general the people. Was the thoughts on that? That's going to be taken care of now. That drug problem, the people bringing the drugs in from or wherever. Or the dog's going to be there, and I'm going to sniff all that out. But it's not like that. Just like we're talking, like mentioning about the rights of the people. That the people have the rights. Their rights. So I think like in our culture or our understanding of I don't think that's really been brought out or as awareness, like the rights of the people. And I think that needs to be brought out too. I know we have our own bylaws and things we do in our communities. And what we do, but there's still those things we have to follow. There's those things we have to follow. Even like the rights of the people, they have their rights. Like you were saying, Terry, about that somebody can get charged, or somebody could what do you call that? Someone can sue you, right? Sue you for not going by their rights, or somebody. Somebody can do that to you. So I don't think those things have been made clear of the awareness of those things, especially to our leaders and stuff, our communities. I think that needs to be kind of talked about more, because I think there's a totally misunderstanding a lot of times between the officers or the law enforcement, or between the community people. They don't totally understand those things. But I know there's certain communities that really follow the bylaws, like Russell there. Like when I hear Russell talking about how they're doing their community, that in that way they have their own ways of where they're totally going by their bylaws and I'm just kind of thinking, okay, if I guess it all goes down to the leadership of our communities, like the chief and council, how they do the communities or their bylaws, or that does make that. That's what I kind of see, like when I hear from other communities, when you talk about your communities and what you're doing in your communities, that if you have a chief and council, the leadership that are really wanting to do it that way, then it works. it works. But if you don't have a chief and council that's not totally like being that way, then it's not going to, or yes, it's all going to be coming in, and they're just kind of not really, they just keep bringing in all the stuff, knowing that it's not totally, how can I put it? Like, skin and that kind of thing. Yeah.
I think, how each community does ways to protect their community. They go ahead and do it. Like I said, Simon Lake has its own methods of keeping the security, the safety of their communities. They go into the checks the house and respond to where they see that they can intervene within their own authority, because it's their community, and so on, they can do that. So, in relation to the animals and stuff like that, that also, they find ways about how to resolve those issues. But but it's different. It's in your community is different. We up north, and that's what polar bears. We have to live with cohabitate with the animal life there, so forth. And the polar bears
Yeah. Ever since they started, and they're different too. That never used to happen before. For the past 10, 15 years, it's totally different now. They never used to do that. You'd really have a polar bear come in probably 30, 40 years ago. You rarely had any coming in, but now it's different now. Yes, that would be. If that would be for the community leadership to look into that, to really do something, or have a bear watch or something. They have to start doing something, like our community leaders, especially mine, like where those polar bears are out.
So the community has to take steps, what they see is right, to protect the community, so that they don't.
Well, but a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually, it's when the grandmothers and the mothers, start really talking. That's when finally something gets done. The grandmothers and the mothers, they go to chief and council, say, this has to be done. And I might be that grandmother and great mother. I have to do that. Yeah.
You have to do what you need to do.
Yeah. And besides, I always go. I can go talk to them. Like, as a mother, as a grandmother and a great grandmother, I can go and talk about that. What could be done to resolve the issue there? That would. Is this good? Yeah, like that, eh?
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's okay. That's I better just stop here right now, or else I'm gonna keep going here. Okay. Aguante bitama. Okay.
And you guys ready for your words. So, in relation to my communities, I haven't heard anything about any shortage of officers in our communities. That used to be one of the biggest concerns that they had before, was the shortage of people. Sometimes they didn't have that, especially in St. Paul's area. And Catholic also had that problem. Catholic always has drug alcohol, drugs coming in and so on that always devastated the families. We went through a lot of people that died because of that. So they raised their concerns in relation to information to how our police force responds to uh, to incidents that could be fatal to their people. But that has begun to decrease those complaints. Because there's more police in the community, there's more police presence in the communities. But we still have a lot of work to do because of the drug addictions that our people have in our communities. In the north, we go back to my own community of Zanzibar, they always have had police issues also because of lack of police services. One of the things that recently occurred is that, when the people get evacuated, what is the role of NAPS in that evacuation? And also, especially when they come back into the community, people, the leadership wants the NAPS officers to be present to see if orderly influx of people going back don't don't take drugs and illegal drugs that sometimes have been going through there. They want to make sure that stuff is they rely on apps to health system. One of the things that we had discussed earlier was there's only certain things that we can do with the people, especially with the canine units, limitations of how we can do it. And people have to understand the limitations. That's why I think we need some sort of education kind of program that will tell them the parameters are services we were right, how we can and part of the things that we have in our agreements and legislations, and it's not that we don't support the laws that that Canada and Ontario have. We are in line with them, but it's how it's applied, how those laws are enforced. We are remote communities, and that's one of the things that we can do in enforcement. It cannot be done without knowledge. We have to look at circumstances that we have to face. How we can so that takes some things that that they do in the communities, and we have to be there to support them somehow in information. With the security guard, and that we have an NAPS control program that we are very initiative, which is a positive step towards assisting our First Nation communities do what they need to do to protect their communities. So, but all in all, there's been less complaints to me from the communities in relation to incidents that are happening. So it's a good thing, but we're moving in the right direction. Great direction as well. So that's good. And like what Colin says, I think we're going in the right direction. So, and I agree with him. So that's all I have to say for Mike. I don't know, Mike, if you want to say, have any comments in relation to what your overall take on these services we provide to our First Nations, or if you hear anything about any concerns from your level.
Off the top, no, don't have any, big concerns other than, what we've heard so far and all the work that they do for, uh, just trying to deal with the drug issues. But I think everything's been addressed and being discussed. Other than that, I can't think of anything or nothing recently has been brought to my attention. Anyway. Yeah, you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it for the community issues. To move on to our final item, this is board liaison report.
Jason, I just got a text from you. Did you want to discuss that question about board makeup? If not, I can get into my report.
No, it wasn't my, it was, Fabian, sorry, I was just listening to Mike and I would recall that he added that item to the agenda and I didn't know if that was part of your report or something that we had missed.
No, but I can update the board. We tried to get the independents together to discuss that particular seat. If you recall, Sandy Lake was looking at saying, well, we want to keep the seat, maybe Treaty 5. So I wanted to set up a meeting prior to Kiwewin. Kiwewin was postponed. And now what I'm looking at is actually resetting that meeting for the day before the AGM to see if we can resolve the issue with our amongst the independent nations. And if not, then we'll take it as an AGM agenda thing. And I'll probably have it on the agenda as an if-or situation and an update to the for the AGM. But it's all good. In my report, I have a list of meetings from May 5th to July 30th. I can vouch that there was a lot of changes and a lot of meetings that didn't take place because of the fires and reasonable bunch of meetings that were scheduled and then the startup of negotiations and other things that were going on. So we managed to get most of the work done, except for I can say now and a little bit later on my report that we are lacking in the community consultation. That's my responsibility, and I have a plan to get that well underway in the third quarter. The tripartite negotiations, we did get a quick, brief update from our council earlier. We did get a meeting kickoff recently for the negotiations, as you know. In order to have some flexibility, we've taken the track to have both the chair and vice chair attend these meetings until we get well settled into the negotiations. Matter of fact, we have the funding to make sure that we have both of those people present throughout and to keep a strong team at the table. We need to have the infrastructure builds and proper workplaces for the staff as we experience a long way to the expansion of our ranks. That is going to be built into the center of the negotiations. Council outlined our expectations to the funders that we need draft terms of reference as we discussed. We need to table rising costs, infrastructure needs, improvement challenges, compliance issues, along with oversight, NAPS border control, air transportation, and culturally responsible policing. These are some of the major items that we need to make sure that we're sorting out as we talk about the growing pains and the needs to define where we're going as we develop our 10-year plan and our new strat plan. Canada expressed an interest in getting longer-term agreements in place. We feel that there might be some benefit to that, but not at this point, as we're in a 10-year cycle trying to get the growth point done. So the negotiation team is looking at, again, a 3 to 5 year plan, and we're probably going to, unless the government objects, target 3 years. when NAPS has achieved the goals and we have that, then perhaps we can look at the funders as saying, okay, as long as we have solid way to get back into the negotiation framework, and it's not a 5-year plan, and then it's too bad, so sad, hit the road until for the next 5 years. We don't want to get back down to that type of negotiating tactic anymore. Our next meeting, as stated, is next week in Toronto, and we're well underway for that as far as planning and getting it set up. Our NAPS AGM has been finally set, final date for this year's AGM. We had to wait for NAN Legal to respond. Sean is taking over the reins there in terms of getting things straightened around. So he asked for us to hold up. So we finally got October 6th and 7th, Kathleen? Yeah. So NAN and PASS has put together the third day. At this point, they don't have any funding. It's a little short, so Sean has agreed that they think that NAN Legal will have a shorter day, and that we can have NAN do a 1 or 2 hour presentation on justice issues at the AGM on day 2. In addition to the general proceedings of the AGM, we hope to put forth a draft strategic plan for 2027-2030. Our retreat in August is primarily to discuss and outline that strategic plan. I also want to say that this plan here is actually, while it's active, the things that are mainly outlined in there will actually carry through the next plan and beyond. So with Terry and I in our discussion, we said, we don't think that we need to reinvent the wheel here. What we need to do is reset that strategic plan. Terry also did some research, and he's found that there are other issues that need to be covered through the CSTA. He's clarifying that with the IOP, and we'll be including that in our discussions. Now, as a recent addition to our strategic plan, I've asked Elder Rosie Mosquito, because I know that we worked on a few strat plans back in the day that were for a different organization, but at the same time, she has that experience. So as an elder, why don't you come on board and help us to carry through the strategic plan? So we'll have Terry, myself, and Rosie, as well as all of you, prompting and providing details that we will do on flip charts. We'll bring all that back. We'll collate it later and do a succinct report for the strat plan. Now, the strat plan does not have to be ready for the AGM. We have until the end of this fiscal to do it. So there's no rush on it, but we will be announcing at the AGM that we have undertaken this duty. Accommodations meeting chases space are a challenge here. So we went back with the Valhalla Inn. The Delta, yeah, it's fine. It's got the meeting space, but if you're into October, people have to be walking a block and a half just to get to the hotel. There's barely, usually not enough rooms, that kind of things. We confirm that. And then when they were talking about going out to the south end here, it was kind of like a little too far from town for a lot of the guests, and we would have a lot of not accommodation, but travel issues to get back and forth from the venue. So we opted for the well-known Valhalla, and hopefully that'll work. We managed to get about 22 rooms there, and with the 2 neighboring hotels, we're certain that we will have the place to accommodate everyone. We have the same event coordinators as last year, and Engaged is going to be the company. We confirmed that with Doreen Stone yesterday, so that's all set, and we're ready to rock the AGM with a cooler or 2. Board policies, as outlined in my last report, MNP representatives are currently conducting board policy review and update. We're going to have a Zoom meeting ahead of the AGM, hopefully a week before, to review those policies, provide any changes. They'll be quick on the fly unless there's major changes needed. And we can adopt the policies ahead of the board AGM. I'll be getting advice from our legal this time on whether or not those board policies actually belong specifically to the board, or if they have to be approved by the oversight body, which I believe they do. So that's a thing we'll be presenting at the AGM. Community consultations. We've only had a couple of them since my last meeting. We were at Webequie and Sachigo. We had planned sessions with, as I mentioned, with the Independents, Martin Falls, and others. Those are all postponed due to the forest fire and evacuations experienced this summer. Webequie Council did talk about the priorities in drug enforcement. They're eager to talk about all the work they put in their crisis team, who's headed up by one of the council members. And as a fresh crisis team is in most First Nations, it's very active. The council's very engaged. So we're not going to slow that down and let it work because they seem to have a really good rapport with our officers. And the chiefs just sorted out how, reiterated to them how it works when they get to the airport searches, that their team goes in and works it. And if they coordinate with our guys can be on standby, but they're not there about to search unless they find something. And in many cases, if they do find something, it'll be disposed of unless it's an illegal substance like fentanyl or whatever that charges to. Well, in Sachigo Lake, we went up there. They had their 50th anniversary, so we know that Frank is at least 50 years old. And while Sachigo Lake Council pointed to the communication system again, there's still a lot of people who don't seem to realize how the call center actually works. But I wanted to say that the noise around the discomfort of it is actually becoming less and less vocal at the meetings. There's still a number of people who believe that while they're on the phone talking to the person who's doing the intake, that nothing's being done to dispatch. We're dispelling that. We're getting on to that. People are realizing it and it's being passed on. So we believe that, you know, it's something that we've done in the past and maybe we can re-endeavor to do that, is to make sure when we're talking council and when we're in any assembly that we do talk about the 911 call center versus the 10 digit one we have, and that when they're doing the dispatch, it's happening as they're intaking the questions. They're finding out more information for the officers. They're getting better safety information, more details on what's happening at the scene, etc., so that they know how to respond when they arrive. In the finance area, the board is in super surplus territory. Oh, sorry, just a sec, my screen's all bugged up here. We have received late last year and in the first quarter large balloon payments from last year, as the service did, which means that we are in receipt right now of about, where's that number? $1.7 million in over and above what we would normally have sitting in our coffers at this moment. And speaking of that, our second quarterly payment is just being handed to us now, which is going to add another $500,000. So when I talk about the community consultation, at this point, we can go a little bit. We don't have to worry about the brakes on it. We can do it. But at the negotiation table, we'll have to tell them, if we do that, how much the new expenditure would be looking like, because I don't think the money that they actually put into the community consultations of $245,000 would get us there. That is approximately 14 meetings at 240,000. So that's not going to get us around to all the communities. And the reason why we're looking at this shortage in that area is because originally we said, okay, we have two small First Nations, i.e. Kingfisher and Wanneman. We can get into one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Can you do it? Yes. But the rub is on the communities. Look at these NAPS guys coming in, dropping in at 10 o'clock and leaving at 11:30. So we've been told and we've heard that response. So we say, you know what, make it the day because you're going to have time to meet with the council, have lunch with the council. The chief and administrative people can go and talk to their and inspect the detachments and have any side meetings with the community that they need to do. So one community per day is how we will try to maintain that. If we're shorted anywhere, for instance, let's just say that Waban Tribal Council, we've only done 1 or 2 visits during the year. We will endeavor to call Tribal Council and say, can we do a Tribal Council consultation? And therefore get input from the leadership en masse in a section that will cover off so that we have the materials we need in order to satisfy the CSBA. I don't have anything else to report in the shortage of finances. We're in very good shape.
Thank you, Vivian. Is there any questions or comments in the report? So is there any pressure for the government that we need to do something about our surplus?
Oh no, I should talk about that. It could be, and here's a scenario that I talked with Jason Pauls that. He said that what we want to do is make sure that our negotiations are on track, that both our council and the other team realize that we need to reach the end point early in the fiscal beginning of the new year so that we can have a signed agreement before March 31st. If it's not signed before March 31st, all of the money surplus then is asked for back and it disappears into the ether. However, if you sign a new agreement, what they do is they act the opposite. They tell you, okay, hold on to your surplus, we'll take care of it next year. So you'll have another year to expend that surplus.
So how we would expend that, or
I can't buy that many coolers. But yeah.
40, maybe 34 coolers, or 35 or whatever.
In the end, we may have to return some expenditure to the service. Some of the other things that are not really well established is how much it's going to cost us for any of these legal issues we're having with employees, because the board's taking care of them now. So until we get the word from our insurers that it's 100% covered, we may have some liabilities. So that'll be watched and oversight time. I don't think we're going to have any issues or concerns, except for the fact that we may have to give it back. And if we're getting to that point, Jason said we will have a chat and we'll see what we can do as far as returning that surplus to the service. They will have a place to spend it, and that way at least the money is utilized for NAPS.
Is there any way we can spend that money on agricultural appropriate recent standards development? When I talked to the deputy minister last fall, I think, about that, he says that that falls in your court. You develop what you need to do, what you decide, what will be policing. But he didn't pass it. That's what's on the agenda for our negotiations, for us to get resources developed.
Because we have money, I believe that you can look at a consultative type of portfolio put out there to someone and say, here's the issues, here's the problems we're looking at, get a team from the board to work with the consultants and get a report out on what we need to do, do a visitation with the chiefs on it, and then get recommendations and see what we can then change, if that's okay.
Any other questions, comments? Do we need to get a motion to accept this statement of report?
Yes.
So if there's no more questions or comments. We need a motion to accept board liaison report.
I can see the board just wants to keep me in jail right now.
I'll move to accept.
Yes, Jason moves to accept the report. Second,
I'll second it.
Chief Collins seconds the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Hey, Fabian, I'll third it.
All right.
Yes.
That's it. Motion carried. So,
Date of the next meeting, I'd like to say that, let's try to just say that it's gonna be we're gonna try to set up a meeting 1 week prior to the AGM, and that'll be a virtual to get set for the AGM. And it's not a regular board meeting, but at that time, I would suggest that that's when you set the date for the next board meeting. Does that sound like a fair appraisal? The dates that I had in mind were October, either October 1st or September 30th. Oh, September 30th, sorry, that's reconciliation day. So October 29th. Would that give us some breathing room? September 29th. No, sorry. Because we're in Treaty 3 on the 28th. Yeah, that's right. Are we driving or flying? Flying, okay.
for 6 and 7?
6 and 7 is the AGM.
Yeah, no. Since I don't have anything to get back.
So we're looking at a virtual meeting for the 29th of September. Is that okay with the board?
What time is that?
I didn't have a time. I was just waiting to see if people preferred morning, afternoon. The usual setup I do is for 10 a.m. That's my favorite time of the day. But, 10 till noon. Yep. It's just to set up for the AGM. If something comes more on the agenda, I'll let the board know, and if we have to work into lunch, then we'll send sandwiches. Okay.
So I think that was my mindset. That's why.
Okay, so next board meeting is virtual 10 a.m. September 29th.
10 to 12.
That's a Saturday.
No, it's the 30th.
So it's
Truth and Reconciliation on the 30th.
Oh, it's the 30th? Okay, what is it? I don't know.
You have to do
You're
more.
right.
You have to do
Right.
more reconciliation because you don't have the status card. You gotta do 3 days.
Oh, so it's not the 29th, it's the 30th.
Somebody put calendars.
Great, sure, so that's.
You had it on the wrong day too?
We're good. Okay, that's the conclusion of our meeting today. I want to thank the board members. End of the day. Also, I want to thank the elder. Now she's gonna do the closing. So, Rosie, yeah.
So it's been a good day, it's a productive day, and I want to thank the Creator for blessing us with another day, and with the good thoughts and good discussion. That He be with us, and we'll, and for those who may be traveling, to safe travel, to have a safe travel, and so I'll just close off and my language. And you're examining to it up for me know where Kishaka Kimichia. When Kimichaka paid the tools to the Suchakati for exchange given. Shaka the sheep Evaxen bueno por Superman, Chiwato bueno, Pitamakiwat, Pitamakiwat, and funcione to Joskanok the Martana Tatawat. Shinoya carried Vaxenda from the Toyota from which you are smart and she went to be in the Kegi. To Jamina Kitawanda Mundo Nikanani Kiki Shawashman Mutsema Mani Chukate Kaye Nachnina Nakegi Kaisha Center Kakis Muchkate Kiotana and Mabaki Kendia Punakate Kuma where and kill it. Sesha na kumpuan kat nakikungkay susuan siya kat nakikungkaki kaya kita mo siya kakis kaya kita makiwat kaya kumakait kiwat para pagsayan po siya naman to siya siya nakipunay sa na kumpuan at kaso